Hi everybody, I'm Kathleen Connors-Brady and this is a biology lesson on Earth Day and protecting planet Earth. So today I'll be presenting my lesson to Watering Can. Feels Earth appropriate. So thank you for joining me in lesson today, Watering Can. We have a very special holiday coming up at the end of the week. Yes, Earth Day, thank you for remembering. So I have this really cool work that corresponds to Earth Day and taking care of planet Earth. Would you like to check that out? Awesome. I had a feeling you'd be excited about it. So, just like I just told you, this material focuses on Earth Day, and it's important to remember that the things we learn to do for Earth Day, to honor Earth Day, are things we can do to protect planet Earth every day. So even though we talk about things for Earth Day, there's still everyday things that we should be doing. So when it comes to taking care of planet Earth, there are several specific ways that we can do that. There's the very popular recycle, which is converting waste into reusable items. Hopefully we're all doing that. We can protect planet Earth by keeping the environment safe. We can upcycle, which is converting waste into a new item. We can reuse, which is using something more than once. And we can reduce, which is using less of anything. So to help us understand these concepts a little better, I have some examples to share with you, and I want you to tell me where you think these best fit. So my first example is using cloth napkins instead of paper napkins. Where do you think that best fits? Sure, using more than once. Reducing, yep, using less of. What do you think is best? Well, I suppose if we're using cloth napkins instead of paper, and it specifically says that, it's so that we're using less paper. So I like that. We'll put that in reduce. Here, this says unplug electronics. Yes, so we're using less electricity. Very nice. That's another example of reduce. Here we have use a reusable water bottle. You saw that key word. That is an example of reusing, because we could reuse that water bottle time and time again instead of using a new water bottle every time and having to recycle it. This says reuse materials for crafts. Absolutely, that's an example of reuse again. What about compost food scraps? Yes, we have food scraps and we're turning them into compost. That is an example of converting waste into a new item. That is upcycling. This says use a toy swap to obtain new toys. I agree. That's upcycle again. We're not necessarily converting waste into a new item, but we're certainly converting an old toy into a new toy for somebody else to use. Ooh, find a new purpose for old materials. That could be an example of upcycle. It could be an example of recycle. I agree. We'll put it in recycle for now. What about sort unused items? Sort used items. Yes, that's also recycling, and that was kind of an easy one. It gives you an example of how to recycle there. What about ride a bike instead of driving? Right, so we don't have the car emissions. That is an example of protecting our environment. What about pick up litter? That is also another great example of a way to protect our environment. Oh, I'm glad you really like that work. I like that work too. Gets us thinking about things in a different way. For follow-up work to this lesson, Would you mind coming up with your own ideas for each of our categories? Maybe just one or two of your own ways that you could give an example of recycling, protecting, upcycling, reducing, and reusing? Oh, good. Well, thank you for coming to lesson. I really had a great time presenting this to you. I hope you had a good time here too. And that is how we honor Earth Day in our class. We do some other stuff too, but this is a really cool material for that. And there's another example of a biology lesson.